Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Bailey. I'm with Rogers Performance Marine. Today I'm going to do a walkthrough for a customer on his brand new 2020 Lund 1975 Tyee. So given the circumstances, we can't have the customer in the shop today to walk him through, boat, motor, and trailer setup procedure. So we're going to do a video to show him and then everybody else with the new Lund, everything from the bottom up. So starting with the front of the trailer, you can see this has got the swivel pin. We've got it swiveled away so that it can fit in our indoor showroom. First thing I want to show you here is going to be the electrical connector. So this, you can see you've got 4 prongs here, the additional ground. This is a little different from what most people have seen, and typically this is not going to work on your truck. You're going to need to get one of these 7-way adapters. Reason for that, you want to take and hook the adapter up just like this, okay? And then this 7-way is what's going to plug into your truck. The reason for this is for the electronic backup solenoid. If you do not have this plugged in, you're not going to be able to back the trailer up. The brakes are just going to lock up. So make sure when traveling, obviously for your lights, signals, running lights, everything, you'll want it plugged in, also for backing up. If there's ever an issue, this is plugged in and it's still not backing up, keeps locking up, you're trying to put it in the garage or back out at the gas station or something, Lund does supply a key just found hooked to your trailer. Okay, this key can be placed in here just like that. That's going to allow it to back up without activating the brakes. You do not want to travel down the road with this because with the key in, the brakes will not activate at any point. So this is just for emergency backup situations, okay? Moving our way back, this has got the upgraded trailer, so it's got nicer diamond plate fenders. You can step on those when getting in and out of the boat. Customer ordered this one with load guides, makes it easier when you're launching and loading the boat. One tip I can offer for you guys, and keep in mind each lake is going to be a little different, is when you're backing it in, if you got the wife backing you in or a buddy backing you in, tell them to use the front of the fender as a gauge for depth. So I tell people to have this about 2 to 3 inches below water when you're launching it. This will be deep enough that you can put the motor down, fire it up. It's deep enough that it should be pumping water like normal. You just don't want to have to power load or use too much power taking it off the trailer. What will happen if you do that is it'll rip the bunks, it can scratch the paint or wear the paint fast on the bottom of the hull. So again, 2 to 3 inches below water, get it fired up. If it's not going to float off at that point, you can have the truck driver back in a couple more inches until the boat freely floats off. Same thing with loading it. Start there. If it's not deep enough, then you can go a couple inches. You just don't want to start off too deep because then you run into possibly running into the front of the bow or having issues with loading it in the wind or bad weather. Moving to the back of the boat, this one's got the upgraded ratchet transient straps. These are really nice because they're much easier to use than your traditional ratchet straps. One thing I will say is they are so easy. Some people do forget to do them. So when you leave the lake and when you get to the lake, make sure you're using these as needed. Simply just press where it says press on there to release it. And then it acts just like a car seat belt. And then when you're ready to leave the lake, hook it back up to the transom eye, locked in and ready to go. Last thing for trailering I want to go over, you see in here is your boat plug. Okay? I don't know the regulations for all 50 states, but I do know in Utah you do not want to transport down the road with this plug in. You want to leave it out so you can't transport any quagga mussels or invasive species. Once you get to the lake, obviously this needs to be one of the first things you do before you launch the boat. Simply put the plug in and twist it until the plug swells up and it tightens in. Just like that. See there, it's tight and ready to go. Just for your knowledge, this is an inlet for your rear live well. This is an inlet for your front live well. If your live well pumps ever stop pumping water, you can check these for debris. I have also seen from time to time an air void get in there. You can take and put the boat in reverse with the pumps on. That should purge any air out of there and allow water to flow in your live wells like normal. Now we're going to go over the motors, then we'll hop up in the boat and do the rest. Alright, so this boat is packaged with the Mercury 225 Pro XS as well as the Mercury 15 horsepower Pro Kicker. A few things to go over with the 225. First and most important,
The first service on this needs to be done at 20 hours. And this, in my opinion, is the most important service you do on the engine. When we do it, we change oil filter, fuel filter. We service the lower unit as well. Make sure it's breaking in properly. We scan it, make sure you're going through the break-in procedure properly as well. The break-in procedure for all of Mercury's motors is very well documented in their owner's manual. So please go through the owner's manual and see what you need to do to go through the break-in procedure. The way it's been explained to me, and the best way I can explain it to you, is just give the motor a variation of all RPMs and speeds. Don't just hold it at 2,500 RPM or 3,000 RPM, for example. Give it a full range of throttle so you can get it wide open and let it experience everything in 20 hours that it's going to see in its entire lifetime. No, that does not mean running at full throttle RPM for 10-15 minutes, but just let it open up and stretch its legs a little bit. After the 20-hour service, you're going to want to service these at least once a year, regardless of use. I believe if you check the owner's manual, it also says to service it once every 100 hours. So if you have an off year and only put 20 hours on the boat, please still get it serviced at the end of the season. Speaking of servicing, the impeller in this needs to be serviced regardless of use once every other year. It's kind of like a light bulb. It's not going to tell you when it goes, it's just going to go, so you want to make sure that you're on top of it. It's pretty cheap insurance just to have it done before you have an issue on the lake. Moving over to the 15 kicker, these are really nice now. They came a long way. This is now EFI, so no more carburetors. You're not having to adjust it for different altitudes. It should run just like the 225 does. So again, on this one, first service at 20 hours, recommend servicing it once a year and then doing the impeller every other year in this, okay? Moving back to the 225, this one we've got a aluminum 21 pitch prop on there. We may change the pitch on it. We're going to send the customer out with an aluminum prop first to find out what his RPM range is with this prop, and then we'll go ahead and put like a Mercury 19 pitch Tempest or a 21 pitch Tempest stainless steel prop on after the fact. A motor like this is definitely recommended to run, with the stainless steel. That's going to give you best performance. Alright, one last thing I want to walk you guys through is going to be the full, complete sport top set in this. Fortunately, with Lund having the sport track system, they've made this super easy to set up and tear down. It goes together almost identical to how the factory travel cover goes. So you'll see in the sport track rail here, this is where like the tonneau cover for the front goes, and simply all you need to do is take and pull down on the cover, and that will release these clips from the sport track. And then when you want to set it up, simply line them up the sport track, pop it in, and it's good to go. We'll show you how to set. Alright guys, now that we walked through the outside of the boat, we're going to start with the bow, work our way into the cockpit and show you all the electronics and features. First thing to go over is going to be the minnkota Ulterra. This is the by far the most in-depth piece of electronics in the entire boat. So this is, it got the auto deploy, auto retract, and the new MDI mega down imaging transducer in the foot. One of the nicest trolling motors on the market by far. So to use this, it's a really simple process to get it set up. This is your power plug here, flush mount power connector. It's keyed so you can't put it in the wrong way. Plug it in, now we're ready to go. You've got to still press the power button on the face of the Ulterra. So power button on, green light, lights up, and it's ready to go. I operate the Ulterra by the handheld remote. You can use the optional foot pedal. I'm not a fan of it. I really haven't spent much time using it, and I've spent a lot of time with the handheld remote, so that's what I choose to use. To fire this thing up, you want to press the check mark in the top right-hand corner, which is there. Give it a second to load. Once it loads, go ahead and press I agree to get into the home screen. Once you've got to the home screen, you can see right here it says motor stowed. It's in the stowed position. To get it out of the stowed position, you're going to want to scroll down here and click on where it says Ulterra. Click on that, and you can see it says deploy there. You cannot just press deploy once. If you press it once, it's not going to do anything. You have to press it twice within, I believe, a 3-second time period. So double click it. And there we are. Now it's, like you can see, it automatically deploys itself. On the same screen, you can trim it down or bring it back up, just using the up and down arrows, depending on how deep of water you want it to be in. To get back to the home screen, simply press the back button here. Then you can scroll to the top for your major functions. Do not test these functions indoors. You want to do it while you're on the water, just so you can give the motor free range to turn the prop on and off and use all the features on it. Starting features, we've got your over arrows here, so right and left. That's going to turn the trolling motor to the right or the left. The plus and minus button are going to control the prop power. So you can see right here, we've got it on half power, 1, 1/2, 2, 2/2, 3, so on. The prop is not spinning right now because we haven't activated the prop button, which is here, and you'll notice there's nothing in the center telling us it's not spinning. You'd want to make sure you're clear of any obstructions before you turn the prop on by pressing the center button. That's going to activate the prop, and you can see the prop spinning. Press the prop button again, we'll kill the power there. Going through the rest of the features really quickly, you've got your autopilot. Quick description of this, it's just going to keep you heading in the same direction once you press that button there, which is in the top left. Cruise control is as simple as it sounds. It's going to be the cruise control like what's in your trucks that you're driving into the lake. Once you press the cruise control, you use the plus and minus buttons to set the cruise speed for you. I set it 1.7 fishing for trout here. Some guys are going to go 2.5. Some guys are going to be under 2 miles an hour depending on what you're doing. The record button is going to record any eye tracks you want to save to the remote. This button on your far right here is going to be max power. Go to spot lock is going to be any saved spot lock settings that you've already pre-saved into the remote. Go to eye track, again, is going to be going to any of the pre-recorded eye tracks you've previously saved. So if you've got a little loop that you want to continue to troll in, you can record it. Once you've done the loop once, you can stop recording, it'll save it into the remote, and then you can find that by going to the eye tracks. If you want to mark a waypoint, let's say you want to mark a spot on the dam that you want to be able to go back to fish later in the day, you can mark a waypoint. That will save it into the remote itself, and then you can go to waypoint to go to any pre-saved waypoints that you've selected. And then back to stowing the ulterra. Again, click on the ulterra in the bottom right, and then simply press stow right here. You only have to press that once. Right there, it's stowed and ready for travel. Some guys will leave this plugged in the entire time they're on the lake. Me personally, I unplug it every time I'm done, just in case my daughter grabs the remote, she can't accidentally deploy it or accidentally turn the prop on. So just take and pull on the power plug here. It's going to kill power to it, and now really nothing can happen. To shut the remote off, you want to hold the check mark in the top right hand corner. Hold that for 3 seconds, and you'll see it pulls up the shutting down icon. Let go. It's turned off, not going to kill your battery. This one's nice too because you don't have to put a battery in it. It comes with a charging port, which is right in here, and then you can take and plug that into a 12-volt charger on the dash and keep it running the entire time you're on the lake. Now I'm going to have Logan hop up in the cockpit with me, and we're going to go through the rest of the features in the bow and the cockpit and show you everything else. All right, now we're up at the helm of this boat. So I'm going to go over the controls for the engines really quick. This front control is going to be for the Mercury 225. This is all DTS, so no shift cable, throttle cable. It's all electronic throttle and shift, which is really nice, really comfortable. You've got your trim here, so you can raise the motor and lower the motor down. Okay. Emergency kill switch located here. You always want to make sure it's in the up position when you're ready to fire it up. And then just like a traditional control box, you're going to press in on this lever to go forward. I always tell my customers to let go of the lever when they're done so they can't accidentally go from forward all the way into reverse. You do want to make the stop at neutral. So once you're in gear, you don't need to be holding on to this lever anymore. You can go back into neutral, press it again, go in reverse. A couple cool features on this control box here. You've got the throttle only button. So if you haven't ran the boat in a couple of months and it's cold out and you want to warm it up a little bit before you take off from the launch ramp, you can simply press the throttle only button. That's going to disengage the prop, and then you can go ahead and put it in gear. You can put it forward from there, give it throttle, let it warm up without moving anywhere or activating the prop. Then you've also got a start-stop button on here. It'll do exactly what it sounds. It'll shut the motor off if it's running, or it'll fire the motor up if it's not. One thing that most boaters should know, but I can't overstate, is do not run these boats out of water for any period of time. They're water cooled. You need to be in the water before you fire it up. Don't fire it up for 10 seconds at home thinking you just want to make sure it's all good to start. You want to do it hooked up to water. Okay, moving back, this is the control box for the Mercury 15 horsepower kicker. This is not DTS, so you have traditional throttle and shift cables, so you will find it's a little stiffer going in forward gear, back to neutral, and into reverse. It's not a problem, just a little stiffer. Again, you've got emergency kill switch here, so right now, I've just flipped it to the down position. It will not fire up. Flip it up to run. If you're ever out on the lake and everything's been running totally fine, and then all of a sudden you go to fire up one of the engines and they won't start, two things to check. First being the emergency kill switch. We see kids accidentally bump them, or if you do hook this up to your swim shorts like you're supposed to, you might accidentally pull it, not realize you shut it off. So you always want to check that first. And then two, you cannot have the engine in gear before you go to fire it up. It needs to be in neutral. So if motor's been running good all day and they decide they're not going to fire up, check those two things first. Okay. The ignition here is for the big 225. And then the ignition down here is going to be for the 15 horsepower kicker. This is just going to be like a traditional ignition switch. First switch is on, and then the next turn is going to crank to fire it up. You'll need to hold it until it does fire up. The 225, back to that ignition switch, all you need to do is turn it to the on position. Now it's ready to fire. You just simply need to bring it to the start position and let go of the key. It'll crank until it fires up. Okay. Now we're going to go over the master power controls. So right now, the only thing in this boat that's going to be working is the minnkota ulterra. It's on its own battery system, and the engines are on their own system too. So I could still fire them up. I could use the ulterra. I could raise and lower the engines without activating the master power switch. But, you know, the horns aren't going to work. Fish finders aren't going to work. Why would we do the master power switch? So going to that, you want to flip that on. Now we've got power to our horn. Here's that there. Interior lights. So you do flip on the interior lights. You got an LED light up in the bow. You've got two LED lights back in the cockpit. Go ahead and turn those off. Navigation lights. If you press it forward, that's going to turn on the green and red lights in the bow and the white light in the back of the boat. If you're traveling 30 minutes to sun up or 30 minutes to sun down, you want to have both front and rear lights on. If you're sitting in the dark or 30 minutes to sun up or sundown, you want to go all the way down. That's just going to activate the yellow light on the transom. Neutral is off. This boat's equipped with an auto build, so if it ever had a water leak or took on water or it was raining or whatever the case was and there's water in the boat, it would automatically pump it out. If you want to manually turn it on, simply just press the button forward. Okay. Automatic aerator and live well. If you go down, that's going to manually fill, so it's just going to pump water until you shut it off. I'll typically do that to get the live well full. Then when it's full, I'll turn it to aerator auto, so that's going to automatically cycle water and air through the live well so the fish don't die. You need to also have the master power switch on to run your fish finders as well as your stereo. We do have the master power switch on, so we can take and fire up this Helix 10 by just pressing the power button here, as well as the stereo by pressing the power button in the bottom left. I'm not going to do too much of a walkthrough on the Helix 10. I advise all of our customers, especially new to the products, to watch a couple walkthrough videos online and then get to the lake and learn how to set it up. I have a lot of guys that set it up in their garage, and then they drive to the lake, put the boat in the water, and have no clue what they're looking at because the setup's now totally changed now that you're on the water. So I'm not going to do a detailed walkthrough on the fish finders today. Going through the stereo really quick, this is a very, very easy system to run through. Right now we're on AM/FM radio. It's 99.9. If you want to change the source, you press the source button in the bottom left and then use the knob here to navigate. One thing you're going to notice is it's going to automatically skip over Bluetooth. Everybody wants to use Bluetooth. It's the easiest form of audio. You see here how it's not allowing you to select it. You need to have your phone pre-connected to Bluetooth before you can select that Bluetooth icon. The Bluetooth name for this boat is Roxford PMX. Again, that's Roxford PMX. You want to select that on your phone before you can connect to Bluetooth. Once you've connected your phone once, you don't need to connect it again. Each time you go out, it should remember it. If you do not want to use Bluetooth, you've got auxiliary here and USB there. You can play it off your phone if you'd like. Most people are just going to go off the Bluetooth. Going more in depth on the dash, we've got the vessel view here. This is Mercury's digital dash. I don't want to go through the setups too much on this system, simply because you want to do that while you're on the water. That's going to tell you all the engine parameters and walk you through everything in the boat. Let me get this fired up so you can see what it looks like anyways. Give that a second to boot up. You can use this for GPS mapping, and then you can use this for the engine parameters as well. So if you want to see, oil pressure, water temperature, engine temperature, battery voltage, and so on and so forth, it's going to give you all those parameters. And if there's any issues with the motor at any point in time, it will also alarm and code for you, just like your truck dash would as well. The alarm you may have just heard in the video is a good example of the alarm you'll get if there is a fault in the engine. Luckily, there's been enough R&D with these new Mercury Pro XS motors. We haven't seen a lot of it, but if there is any hiccup at all, this dash is going to tell you. We got it loaded here. You're going to want to press accept. Read through that, obviously. I'm not going to register this today. I leave that for the customer, so I'm going to go ahead and remind later. Right here is your main screen. You can see you've got your RPM, you've got your fuel, how much fuel's in the boat, battery voltage at the top, and then you've got your speed on the far left. To get in the home screen is this button here in your top left. Go ahead and press that. That's going to take you home. We were just on the engine settings there. The two settings I primarily use are going to be engine and chart. Chart does have some nice preset GPS mapping in there. You're going to want to go through the owner's manual a little bit on this to understand how to use it. It is a nice in-depth system, and it's very responsive to popular lake in our area is Lake Powell. You can see how easy it is to scroll in, find Lake Powell. And it's going to show you the lake. You mark waypoints. You can save, fishing spots or beaches or whatever. But really nice GPS dash in here. Then again, we'll go back to the home screen, back to the engine parameters. Anything you want to see should be in here. All right, now we're going to walk through the bow features. All right, the bow's going to be a quick walkthrough. There's not a whole lot to go over in here. We've already covered the ulterra. We've already covered the navigation light. A couple things I want to show you really quickly. Right here on the starboard side, you've got your bow live well. So this is going to be plugged with just a generic boat plug. The one that I showed you guys on the transom will be the same exact thing. It's got an overflow in it, so if you accidentally left the pump on, it shouldn't overflow into the boat. It should drain out as well. If you notice, it's kind of hard for you to see. Right back in here, you've got a water spigot. This is the most important thing about the live well that I can show you. So right now, it's all the way counterclockwise. If you were to turn on the live well switch right now, I already showed you that on the dash, no water would come in there. You want to reach in and grab the live well spigot at the very end and rotate it counterclockwise. The further counterclockwise you go, the more water flow can come in. The further clockwise you go will eliminate the water flow coming in, just like your garden hose at home. So if you're out fishing, you want to fill the live well up with water, you turn the switch on, no water's coming in, that needs to be the very first thing you check. Make sure you've opened that water spigot there. A couple other things really quickly. This boat does come with the bow cushion set, so if you're not fishing for the day and you got the kids that want to sit up in the bow, these lay in here nicely. They do travel down the lake really well. I've traveled down the road with them, a short distance. I wouldn't recommend definitely getting on the freeway with them. That's sure they're going to blow out. When I say a short distance, I'm talking a couple miles. I'm not far from my house to the lake. If you're going any sort of distance and you're gonna get any speed above, let's say 40 miles an hour, take them out, put them in the cockpit, put them in the back of the truck. You don't want to have these blow out. Move that to the side to show you you've got bow storage up in here. It's gonna be the cover for the boat in there. Battery storage. This is a 36 volt trolling motor, so we got 2 batteries here, and then one's in that port storage compartment as well. Then you've got another storage compartment up here. So Lund does a really good job at utilizing their entire boat for storage, so you definitely shouldn't run out of room by any means. Another option that you have to get in Lund boats, in my opinion, is these bow cargo nets. Right now, with no gear in the boat, it sounds silly to talk about, but I can promise you when you get it loaded up with all your tackle, life jackets, and fishing gear, you'll be happy you had these. And if you don't have them, you'll probably want to get them ordered. All right, now we're going to walk back into the cockpit. All right, earlier in the video, you guys seen the boat with the full sport top up. I'm going to show you how to take it down. Setting the sport top up, obviously you just want to do it in reverse order. I'm going to do it right now. So you've got snaps all along the front of the windshield. The center walk-through, once this is down, will also fasten to these 2 snaps. Then you've just got the zipper down here. So easiest way to take this down is you'll want to take and unsnap them. Get both sides done. Now I found it easiest to drop this back down. Also, it seems to stow away a little bit better. So you'll take and unsnap it here, unsnap it here, and then take and use the zipper. Pull down on that. From there, grab the front bar, press it forward. Okay, so it's set back. Easiest way to wrap it up now is going to be take the loose hanging canvas. Get it nice and tight like that. It'll come with a bimini boot if you got a Lund factory bimini top. Okay, with the bimini boot, you'll throw it over the bimini top itself. Okay, and then simply set the zipper up. And zip it across. Quick and easy way to get the bimini top set up. I do like to take and try and stuff as much of the canvas up in here as possible, especially going down the road. You can travel down the road. I don't like to get speeds much above 40 miles an hour set up like this. You're gonna notice it will shake a little bit. Not gonna be a problem, but keep it to a manageable speed. If you wanna drop it down, Lund has these awesome new bimini feet. So super simple. All you do is take and pull on the white clip. That's unlocked it, pops out, clips to itself, so this bar isn't just flipping around. Do the same thing on the port side. And then if the downriggers and rod holders were in the way, you could actually set this all the way down on the floor. That's how I typically do it. If you want to go one step further, you could undo the front feet, and Lund makes this awesome bimini top hider located here that you can actually take and stuff the bimini top into there and get it completely out of the way. A day where it's not too hot, you don't want to set the bimini top up, but you want to bring it just in case. It's a nice place to stow it. You'll also notice that the center ski bar is stowed in there as well. So the days you're going to break out the tubes or the solemn skis, that's the ski tow bar, and it just clips right in here. Just like that. Shut it, and it's ready to go. Okay, now moving back, this guy got his boat set up with two Canon Mag 10s electric downriggers. I really like these ones because, simply just for the swivel base. Having electric downriggers alone is nice. Swivel base makes it even nicer. You can change the position it's at, whatever angle you need it on. Okay, if you want it facing straight back, it's nice out of the way. We went ahead and installed some flush mount power ports here. So simply to give power to the downrigger. Plugged in, now it's ready to go. Got the rod holders set up. These are from Lund. We typically don't run two extensions. We just had it set up for the sake of the video. These are keyed, so to remove it, you want to pull up and twist it while keeping some pressure pulling up on the rod holder. That's going to allow it, when it finds the keyway, to pop right out. It's like that. You can see right there, that's the key, and there's a little notch inside the sport track bracket that slides down into. Just like that. And then you can also change the angle of the rod holders. Cool thing about Lund too, using the sport track brackets as well as the downrigger brackets, you can slide these wherever you'd like them to be. You can slide them further forward, having the bow, and you can have them further back in the back of the boat. You don't have to drill a bunch of holes for all your rod holders. Moving to the back of the boat, we took one of the seats out of the cockpit, so you could fish off the back if you wanted to. You can easily remove this seat by just pulling up on it. Okay, then I could take this and put it in the bow to do some bow fishing, or I could put it in the cockpit. Really nice thing with these Pro Ride seats. Super ergonomical, really comfy, great. If you're constantly getting up, casting, moving around the boat, they're easy to get in and out of. And then another thing that you gotta have is the air ride pedestals. So in rough water, the Tyee handles rough water really well as is, but this just really complements it great. You can take and raise and lower the height of the seat, and it gives you a little cushion when you're running through the really rough water. To raise and lower it, you've got a lever here on your right-hand side. Lift up on it, lower it, lift up on it, it'll raise it. Super, super simple. Also, right here, you got an adjustment knob. This is going to adjust how tight the seat is on the base. So if you don't want it to swivel at all, you really want to tighten it. And then if you want it to swivel very easily, you can loosen it. It does also have a lock right here that can lock the seat base in place so it can't swivel at all. Okay. Moving back to the back of the boat, the Tyee is equipped with two live wells. This is the larger one in the rear. Okay, does come with a live well divider so you can separate the fish. This is the boat plug I was referring to that will plug in here to keep water in. This is a much better angle to show you the water spigot. Same thing I was talking about in the bow of the boat. So again, grab it by here, twist it counterclockwise to allow more water flow. Go clockwise to stop the water flow. You do not have to pull all the way out because you see how it's keyed there. That's going to allow water flow to come in through here. So it doesn't need to be pulled out every time. It wouldn't hurt it if you did, but not necessary. And then take and twist this back in to kill the flow. Another cool thing Lund does is they put a live well light in here. It's a nice LED white light that'll light up the entire live well. A couple more things on the back of the boat. This is an option, it's not factory, but I do love to get it. This is the washdown system. You're not gonna buy a nice boat like this and not take care of it, so this is an easy way to keep it clean. Simply take the hose, comes with it here. This is the port. You wanna take this cap off. Okay, thread your hose on here. Then you'll want to open the valve to allow water flow. Okay, you can see now the hose is pressurized. Then simply take and turn on the washdown pump. I killed the switch up at the dash for master power, so this isn't going to turn on right now. But all you need to do is flip that switch, and then you would have pressurized water right to the hose. So nothing in here now. Obviously, like I say, the power switch it, and we're not in water. When you're done, shut it off. Turn the valve, and then go ahead and remove the hose. It's great for washing down after a day fishing. If you bring dogs along and you need to spray them off, keep them cool. Really whatever you want to use it for, but it's a nice option to have. Last thing I want to go over, actually two more things I want to go over. Rear seats do have storage under them. So this one's got your battery storage there, okay? Then we'll go over to the starboard side, flip those up. That's battery storage for the main engine, and then you've got your hydraulics back there as well. These seats are super, super nice. I mean, I'm not a very tall person, but I can sit here. We can have a person in front of me in the pro ride seat, and also a person sitting next to the captain up front. Last thing I want to show you guys is the new way of checking fluids on the 225. Again, you should be having authorized mercury dealers do your service, but for peace of mind, if you want to check the oil really quick, you can take and press down on the cowling without lifting the big heavy cowling up, and your dipstick is right here. Super easy to check. You can add oil here, and then if you do want to remove the cowling, all you'll do is take and press on the red button there, lift up, and it's free and ready to go. Makes it easy to take it on and off, and then a quick and easy check, so you don't have to take the whole cowling off every time you want to check the oil. Very, very last thing in the boat is I just want to show you the locking rod storage. So right now we do have all the canvas put in here for the sport top, but that is great storage, whether you want to use it for water skis, tubes, fishing rods, fishing tackle. It's a nice, big, deep storage that is locking, so you can keep your valuables in there without worrying about them being stolen. That's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.